Good morning, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing fine. Thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. Of course, guys, before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, all that lovely, generous stuff, guys. You absolute legends. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's get right into the action, guys. Let's get right into the nitty-gritty, of course, guys. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about some transfer news. Of course, I always start the shows with a little bit of transfer news. Of course, we want to know the latest and the greatest in a positive way about Man United before we bring up all that negative stuff and everything like that. But I'm going to talk about a couple of players that Man United are linked with. And I want to know your opinions on this as well. It's very important that I know your opinions and very important how I know how you feel about this. But there's a player named David Affengruber. David Affengruber is a centre-back who plays for Elche. He's 24 years old. He can play a CDM as well. So he's very versatile, which is a good thing. That's in his side. He's an Austrian, not an Austrian international, an Austrian under 21. He's had Austrian under 21 caps, but he hasn't had a proper full-time Austrian cap yet. He's valued at around 7.5 million euros, which is not going to break the bank. It does look like Man United do want to reinforce the squad when it comes to the centre-back positions. Now, this is a little bit surprising to me because I actually don't believe that Man United need a centre-back. But lo and behold, here we go. Austrian centre-back Affengruber, 7.5 million euros. I have mentioned him on the show before many months ago. Man United seem to be interested in him, seem to like this player. For whatever reason it is, obviously, it's down to Ineos, what they want, of course, guys. But that is something that, this is a very kind of Ineos type of signing when you're looking at the price. It reminds me, obviously, in a little bit of an older sense of the Dorgu signing and stuff like that. It does remind me of that, but obviously he is 24, of course. But David Affengruber to Manchester United in January, 7.5 million euros, guys. Something to keep an eye on as well. Another player that I've mentioned on this show a few times is Christian Pulisic. Now, Christian Pulisic, of course, is the former Chelsea player currently playing for AC Milan. Still a very talented player, obviously on the other side of the 20s now. He's in his late 20s now. Attacking midfielder, versatile, can play wing, can play attack, can even play up front to an extent. The problem with Christian Pulisic is that his valuation is a little bit over the top. He's a USA international, of course, who will be playing in the World Cup, most likely. But Man United like this player. For whatever reason, guys, you may disagree, but Christian Pulisic, Man United like this player. Now, Man United have inquired about Christian Pulisic in January, right? The way they've done it, the way they played this out, because Christian Pulisic is valued at around 60 million euros, but the way they've played this out is like, right, we want you on loan. We're going to pay a fee for you. We want you on loan with an obligation to buy. And this is what they're posing towards AC Milan. Of course, Man United are looking for, look, some people may say it's panic. Some people may say we're messy when we're doing deals and things like that. We're very messy. We're very all over the place, throwing things against the wall, hoping something sticks. Man United want an attacking player who is versatile, can play left, right, and up front. Because obviously the AFCON is around the corner and we're going to be missing our players. We all know who we're going to miss in, obviously, Mbeumo, Ahmad, and Mazraoui. So we're going to be missing these players. So obviously Man United are looking at bringing in someone in. So there is a little bit of panic stations at the moment, right? There is panic stations at the moment, guys. And it is a little bit concerning about the way where Ineos are going, which direction they're going and things like that. It's very concerning that they don't have a direct plan of what we want and they're not prepared. The African nations should have been considered in the summer. That should have been considered in the summer. That is something that we should have thought about in the summer, which is why we should have signed the players that we needed to sign in midfield, etc., in the summer, because we knew that the AFCON is coming. You can't stop that, and that is going to happen in the summer, and that obviously is going to hamper Manchester United. Again, a little bit of incompetence there, of course, guys. But Christian Pulisic, I have always rated. I think he's a very good player. He reminds me a little bit, though, of Juan Mata, who we brought in. Juan Mata was one of the more likable signings of Man United when he signed for Man United all those years ago under David Moyes. He was very likable character and things like that. Absolutely. But the problem is with Juan Mata, I just don't think he fitted Man United. And we obviously misprofiled him. We played him in the wing and stuff like that. It does remind me of that a little bit. But I would say that, yeah, I'll be happy with the signing if it's nobody. If we're not going to sign anybody else, but we're going to bring in an attacking player to fill in the void of Mbeumo, it wouldn't be a bad idea. It wouldn't be a bad idea because obviously Man United do need cover in those areas because God forbid, if we get an injury or something, guys, we are absolutely really royally, shall I say, screwed, of course, guys. Absolutely. So Christian Pulisic to Manchester United, a loan deal with an obligation to buy. That is what Man United are looking at the moment. That is what we're posing forward at the moment. But don't be surprised if you hear a lot more about this going forward, of course, guys, in regards to Christian Pulisic. Now, I always bring in a little bit of way out there news, guys, in regards to this. I always bring out a bit of way out there news in regards to transfers. Sergio Ramos is on a free transfer. Sergio Ramos is on a free transfer. The 39-year-old former Real Madrid legend, of course, guys, currently playing for Monterrey in Mexico, is leaving Monterrey and he's going to be on a free transfer, guys. Now, Man United, of course we are. We're linked with them. We're linked with old Ramos, guys. Of course we are. Of course we are. The 39-year-old player, of course, guys. We're linked to Sergio Ramos, guys, the Real Madrid legend. Look, I absolutely love Sergio Ramos, guys. I think he's a fantastic player. 10 years ago, 10 years ago, guys. And even 10 years ago, we'll be looking at it and thinking, you know what, he's 29. You know what I mean? But you know, even if it was 10 years ago, we'll be looking at it thinking, oh my God, he's 29. No, it's just too long, guys. It's too old. He's too old. Look, he's 39, for goodness sake, crying out loud. I heard this morning and I almost choked on my coffee, guys. I'll be real with you. Absolutely, I choked on my coffee. I thought 39 years old, Sergio Ramos to Man United. Come on, guys. Wake up and smell the coffee. That is too old at the end of the day, guys. And yeah, look, that's one I wanted to bring in to you today. Now, obviously, the contradictions in regards to the media, in regards to what Ineos want to do. Of course, there was rumors coming out over the last 24 hours. Ineos are not interested in spending money in January because they don't know where we would be in the summer. Basically, they want to save their money in January because we don't know if we're going to be in Europe in the summer. So basically, not spending in January because they're worried that we won't qualify for Europe, so that in the summer, you know, they know how much money they got to spend and stuff like that, basically. So basically what they're saying is this, right? If we're not in the Europe in the summer, we know we got this certain amount of money and we saved this certain amount of money so we can get certain players. But the fact that they don't spend money in January gives us a less chance of qualifying for Europe. And this is the whole problem about Ineos. And this is what I'm talking about, the Glazonomics, the Ineonomics and all this, Glazonomics and, Glinios and things like that. You know, and this is what we're talking about. So they don't want to spend money in January because we're not in Europe. Of course, we're not in Europe. We know that. But we're not in Europe and we might not qualify for Europe. So they would rather wait into the summer. But not spending money in January would equate to us not qualifying for Europe, you know? That it just doesn't make sense to me. It's like a mind blow. My mind went, it just blew my mind. And I'm like, come on, man. Come on. What are you on about, guys? What are you on about, man? You know what I mean? And it just typifies where we are, how we are owned and you know, how we going forward. And this is what I've been talking about for a long, long time now, guys. And, you know, Ineos just don't want to spend. It's as simple as that. This is why they didn't fix the midfield in the summer. And this is why they gave us a 4 out of 10 window. This is precisely why that has happened. Now, the reason that Ruben Amorim needs backing because we are progressing. Now, a lot of people think that we haven't progressed. Now, I beg to differ. Facts are facts. Goals scored, we are third in the league, behind Man City on 35, Arsenal on 28, Man United have 26, guys. Man United are third in the league, right? XG, we're third. Shots, we're first. Shots per game, we're first. Big chances created, we're third. And missed chances, we're third. Now, guys, maybe, just maybe, when you look at that, and you look at that fact right there, maybe if we fixed the squad and got the players that he needs with backup strikers and everything, missed chances is the biggest thing for me. Big chances created third, missed chances first, right? That is the big thing for me because maybe if we were prolific, which obviously you get prolific by buying good players, we might be top of the league, guys. When you're looking at that, right? Because you look at that and people are saying we're not progressing. We're third in the league in regards to goals scored. Where were we last season, guys? XG is third. Shots in regards to the season, first. Shots per game, first. Big chances created, third. Missed chances, first. I mean, call me ridiculous and delusional here. But look at those stats. That, for me, is a championship winning team. If I looked at that right now, guys, I would look at that and think that is a championship winning stats. That's championship winning stats right there in front of you, live. Guys, that is championship winning stats. And I look at that and I think, wow, you know what? If we were a little bit prolific, if we had the squad there and stuff like that, Man United would be progressive. Now, look, this obviously shows you tactics. This shows you formation. This shows you coaching, more importantly. This is what this shows you. We are coached into being the third top scorers behind Arsenal and Man City, guys. Shots per game, we're first. Big chances per game, we're first. Big chances created, we're third. Missed chances, we're first. That is coaching. Now, I've always said, guys, you can lead a cow to the river. It doesn't mean that the cow's going to drink from the river. And this is exactly what I've been talking about, guys. Exactly what I've been talking about. But no, we should sack him. No, we should sack him. He's not the guy for us. We're not progressing. We're not getting anywhere. They want to ignore these vital points, these statistics that are there in front of your face. They're right there in front of your face. This is what it is right there. There's the facts. There's the facts, guys. Third in the league in goals, more importantly. 26 goals. Arsenal 28. Just 2 more than Man United. And Man City 35. Come on. Drop the bomb, guys. That is what we're talking about. Right? And it's what we're saying. If this is not the manager, who's going to have better stats than that? Are they going to teach those players who we're first in missed chances, by the way, to suddenly put away their chances? Right? Is that going to happen? Are they suddenly going to put away their chances? Are they suddenly going to become prolific? Is that going to happen, guys? I mean, I wonder, guys. Maybe you want to ignore that because you have your narrative. And that's what I'm talking about. Some people call me rude because I contradict what people say when when they come out with the simpleton opinions about Ruben Amorim and things like that. He needs to be sacked. He was not good. It's just Wolves. We just beat Wolves. They call me rude because at the end of the day, they don't like being told about the birds and the bees. Here you go, guys. Don't let me tell you. Let the stats speak for themselves, guys. Again, goals scored third, XG third, shots in the season first, shots per game first, big chances created third, missed chances first. Goals scored third with 26 behind Man City and Arsenal. The great Arsenal side, of course, guys. And there you go, guys, live in living colour. Should I drop the mic? I think I should, guys. I really do think I should. Because at the end of the day, you guys think I come out of here. Some guys think I come on this channel and I just want to back Ruben Amorim. I'm too positive about Ruben Amorim. I actually use my bloody eyes and my brain. That's the difference with me. I don't use my heart. I don't use my heart and I don't use my opinion because Manchester United are far greater than me in my opinion. Man United are far greater than my opinion. Man United will be here way after my opinion. And that is the fact here, guys. It's not about my opinion. It's about what is right for the football club. What is right for the football club going forward? What do we need for the football club going forward? And that is what it is at the end of the day. Now, maybe Avinios and the Glazers backed Ruben Amorim, maybe those missed chances of being first, maybe if only about 20-30% of those missed chances were converted, maybe Man United right now will be challenging for the league. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, guys, isn't it, at the end of the day? And this is exactly precisely what I've been talking about. We have to learn about, you know what, stop using emotion and ego, because this is what it is. Basically, this all boils down to ego. It boils down to my opinion's right, and that is it. If I looked at the stats right, guys, and I said, right, goals scored, we're 10th, XG, we're 11th, and big chances created, we're 14th, I say, well, we're not progressing. This is like, you know what, this is like last season. But when I'm looking at those stats, guys, and I'm interested to know about the Ruben Amorim haters and stuff, because that's what you are at this point, because I'm factually proving you wrong, right? I'm learning that. What is your excuse for that? What is your excuse for that? We do not have the quality on the pitch. That's what it shows me in regards to finishing chances. We don't have the quality on the pitch. For whatever reason that was. Now, I said it against Wolverhampton Wanderers, Man United should win this game, should have won this game 8-1. That is what the chances showed me. Man United could have won that game 8-1, and no one could have said anything. Unfortunately, we have a section of the fan base. If Man United don't win 10-0, they're going to criticize Man United. But no one wins 10-0, do they? No one in the Premier League wins 10-0, do they? At the end of the day. So it's crazy the way people are analysing football these days. And it actually is scary the way people analyse football because, look, I'm looking at it by some guy sitting in a barn somewhere talking about stats and this and that and that. Well, the stats are right there, guys. And if you think that we're not progressing, you a hater. You're hating. You're just hating at the end of the day and not spitting an educational football lesson at the end of the day, guys. You know what I mean? And that's what I would say. You know? As I've always said, Ruben Amorim is not invincible. Of course, he's not invincible. He's not invincible. Ultimately, it's about results. I know that. But you've got to give the manager the best chance to produce results. And that's what I'm talking about. And that comes from the top. That comes from the management group. That's where it comes from. You've got to give Ruben Amorim the best chance. This is why I said, get rid of the players until we get the players right, not the manager. Keep the manager. Get rid of the players until we get the players right. Because at the moment, we've had a 30%, 40% window. Right? And that is not good enough, in my opinion. Absolutely not. Big up the community. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing good, guys. I hope everyone is blessed with you. Good morning, Ephraim, you legend. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Max. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Good morning, Benny, the legend. What's going on, brother? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. Absolutely. Big up, Arman. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Sal, is their injuries record good? Our injury record is atrocious. If we're going to have anything, this is low. It is our injury record, but it's been like that for years, of course. I'm going to get into that, but it's been like that for years in regards to our medical department. And I think, right, there is a fault for depth squad depth. That this is what we're talking about. There is a fault for depth squad. This is what Man United are looking at the moment, depth squad. But we're obviously hearing contradictions in the media about who Man United are going to bring in. If Man United are going to bring in anything, Man United are thinking about the summer and don't want to spend in January. But if we don't spend in January, we jeopardize our chances immensely in regards to getting into Europe, which will obviously affect the summer. So the contradictions and the insanity are all over the place at the moment, in my opinion. I'll be happy if we sign Pulisic. I think I would as well as a squad, you know, to help with the squad. We got to think about, about the African nations, what's going on at the moment. And we have to think about it, obviously, objectively. And even if we're like, oh, he's not the best player in the world. But to bring in a player like that, just like I said about Conor Gallagher, we bring in a player like that, it will help the squad, of course, when our squad is very threadbare at the moment, of course. Big up, Max. What's going on? Yeah, those players should have got bought in the summer. You're right. So absolutely, Jale. Absolutely. Absolutely, Max. Absolutely. Jale, good morning. I read about the Ramos thing. Cannot be true story. Goes against the age profile. I mean, at the end of the day, Jale, I'm mentioning it because I heard it in the media from a respected source. So I'm just saying that as a free transfer, absolutely not. I don't want him. 39 years old. He's got no legs to go in the Premier League. It'd be gone. Anyway, guys, it'd be gone. It won't be able to handle the Premier League, and that is for certain, guys. Jale. Anyway, good morning. Good morning to you. Been an interesting morning for me. My job server was hacked yesterday, and I'm forced to be home. I'm sorry to hear that, Jale. I mean, I hate people. Some people got no lives. They like to hack people and stuff. I'm really sorry about that, my friend. I hope it gets better for you. If you need anything, let me know. Of course, big up Jale yourself. Big up yourself. Big up Sanjay. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Sam. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. I'm very well. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well as well, my friend. Big up Stephen Maguire. Good morning, Sal, and United fan. Big up yourself. Set piece goals, second or third. Look, guys. Everything in regards to the statistically, we are improving under Ruben Amorim. Everything statistically that you see in front of your face, we are improving. It is a fact, guys. You can't hide from the facts at the end of the day, guys. Absolutely. There is a guy I like listening to, but against Everton, he broke. Now he is a Ruben out, and that he could not celebrate our 4-1 win against Wolves. Well, that's his problem. At the end of the day, teams lose against 10 men. Sometimes it doesn't. We are in transition, Jale. Man United are in a position where we still have players that are flattered to see for many, many years. And we still have those players and we still have the characteristics of those players. But when I just post to you the facts about Manchester United, you can see progress. Now, you can bring in your Glasners, your Areolas, whoever you want to bring in. They're not going to improve anything. And this is the whole argument here. We would lose to Everton as well. We beat Arsenal with 10 men last season. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, does that make us, the best team in England of all time? No, it doesn't. At the end of the day, that happens sometimes. But you don't go through life saying, I hope we lose. Because if you hope we lose, you're not a Manchester United fan. And I would humbly, respectfully say to you, please go and support someone else because we don't want you. If you cannot handle a little bit of rain, then listen, you're not designed for this football club. This football club came from adversity. Maybe they need to educate themselves about this football club. This football club came from adversity. And I would urge everyone who listens to this clown not to listen to him anymore, because we don't want people who hope their own football club lose so that they can prove a point because they're feeling emotionally drained. You know what I mean? grow the F up. And that's what I would say about it. Support your football team. Show courage when the chips are down. Support your football team. We're looking at improvement. This is no quick fix. Man United are a derelict building full of asbestos. This is what Man United are all about. This is 20 years of the Glazers at the end of the day. We have to remember that. Of course we do. And people tend to forget that little element. It's something that we mentioned in the summer before this season started, that these things are going to happen. We're going to have adversities. It's going to be difficult without that midfield and the wing backs. He doesn't have the players. It's a 4 out of 10 window. Why do you think I was saying that? For the sake of saying that, to get buzzwords and sensationalist clicks? Absolutely not. Do you know what I mean? Set piece a second of our big up. Yes, big up, my friend. We are scoring goals now, and we need to players to solidify our defense. Absolutely good midfielders and good left and right wing back. If we can get those players in, we will be unstoppable. Sam, thank you very much. Now, this is the thing about Sam. Love Sam to bits, mate. Speaks a lot of facts. And there we go, guys. And it's exactly what I'm talking about. We are not. This is not a doom and gloom sort of thing going on at the moment. We are frustrated because there are elements of our team that should have been fixed already, but they're not fixed. And we know that with this manager, we can go forward and we can progress. Unfortunately, we still got an element of the team that have been there for 15 years. Yeah, 15 years odd. And we got players that have serially down-tooled over the years. This is why I called them Ted Bundy FC. They've serially down-tooled over the years. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. Do you know what I mean? Any manager that walks into this football club will struggle with this. Ruben Amorim, as Cristiano Ronaldo, the GOAT, in my opinion, said, you're expecting miracles from Ruben Amorim with this bunch of players. That's basically what he's saying. You're expecting miracles with Ruben Amorim with this bunch of players. With this bunch of players, you're expecting a bloody miracle. And I absolutely concur with that. I agree with that. Absolutely. Now, this is why Man United are looking like Affin Gruber, players like that, the defense. They're trying to shore up the defense a little bit because obviously we are conceding stupid goals. We're seeing stupid goals because you have stupid players, like Luke Shaw and players like that, who've been there for many, many years, flattering to deceive. Now, I say that we need to think about the future of Man United. I like Aiden Heaven. I think he's the future of Man United. I like Lenny Yoro. He's the future of Man United, but so is De Ligt as well. So I believe Aiden Heaven, De Ligt, and Lenny Yoro should start for Man United in defence, or Mazraoui instead of Yoro. And that will solidify our defence. Now, I don't think we're that bad. I don't think we conceded anything against Wolves in regards to other than the goal. I don't think anything really struggled. We look a bit panicky sometimes at the back. And that goes with organisation. That goes with organisation in regards to the players that we got that have been there for years, that mentally have got the PTSD going on at the moment, that they're feeling a little bit nervous in regards to every time, we're 1-0 up, or 1-1, we're scared to concede another goal. This is something that we need to raise the football team, and that comes from moving certain players out of the team. I would move Luke Shaw out of the team. I know some people think that Luke Shaw has done well this season. I actually don't. I don't think he's done that well. That sucks when that happens, but we are here celebrating, and it is great that we won. I'm going to wait and I need more wins. Look, at the end of the day, nobody should be saying that you should be claimed that you're a Man United fan if you're not supporting your football club. If you want your club to win, you are not a Man United fan. In fact, you're far away from a Man United fan. You're the complete opposite of that. Absolutely, guys. Johnny, there's progression for sure on the attacking side of things, but there's still red flags from every aspect of the club, players, manager, and owners. Red flags everywhere. What's the red flag when the manager is doing his job? The red flags are from the ownership that are not backing the manager. That's where the red flags are. You can't talk about red flags from the manager when the manager was not bloody backed in the summer, Johnny. And there you go. You just want to bring in the manager in there, red flags, so I just hit you with some facts. I just hit you with the facts, Johnny. Sorry, mate, but you've been schooled tonight again. Sorry, bruv. You've been schooled again. The manager, there's no red flags. The red flags are with the ownership and Ineos that they should have backed this guy. Every manager's going to have his faves and that, but maybe, just maybe, there would not be those red flags that you think are there if Ruben Amorim was backed. Do you know what I mean? If he was backed, maybe, just maybe, your red flag theory of the manager would not be there. I just hit you with the facts there. Players and ownership, absolutely. Pulisic is the best player in the US team. Yeah, I agree with that. Johnny, however, I do find it toxic and weird when people say online wanting to lose because they don't like a manager or a player. They are the worst type of fans. Exactly, my friend. Look, guys, listen, Johnny. Johnny, I banter you sometimes and we have a laugh. But the problem is this, right? I don't mind what you think in regards, as long as it's constructive. I will come out with a counter argument. I will hit you with the facts. I will do that. If you want the manager out, I'll tell you why we shouldn't sack the manager. If you want the manager in, I'll tell you why we should sack the manager. In all different aspects of it, right? I will always come out with a balanced argument. But one thing I would do, I will always analyze people in regards to constructive argument based on Man United eventually being successful in the long term, right? In the short term and long term. This is what I always base my argument on. Unfortunately, some people base their argument on the narrative that they've made up their mind about something, a player or a manager or the owners, and they've given completely up with it, and they want Man United to lose. So they have, in theory, they have this narrative that things are going to change for the better. And that is a complete, absolute myth. They're not going to change for the better. Wanting your football club to lose to prove a point in an egotistical world that they live in, right? A narcissistic world that they live in, is not a Man United fan. And I would say that completely and utterly. I would not call you not a Man United fan, Johnny, because you want Ruben Amorim out. No, I won't. I'll say why. And you give me the reasons. I'll say, well, this is counter to that. If we don't agree, we agree to disagree. And that's about it. We have constructive arguments. But people who want their manager to lose, right, so that they can say, well, I told you so. I told you. Because there were many people before the Wolverhampton Wanderers game, right, who said, I think we're going to lose. I hope we lose. I've had people in the stream say that. I hope we lose, because in the long term, you know what, it's better that Man United lose so that, you know what, the manager gets sacked, and that's a good thing. And that is awful to hear as a Man United fan. Of people who died for this football club, guys. People who sacrificed everything for this football club to say things like that, to get little prats like that, to say things like that at the end of the day. Ultimately, Man United will be here long before I'm gone, right? Long after I'm gone. The manager will be here long after he's gone. The club will always be here. The club will always be here, and the people will still support the football club. Well, I hope so. But this new generation, sport petulant little generation, that, you know what, just want to bring in the negatives because they made up their mind. Or, and I'll flip that as well, Johnny. There are people who have over-the-top positivity as well, by the way. And that obviously is in regards to the owners and stuff like that. There is a flip side to that. There is over-the-top positivity as well. I would say that as well. It's a disgrace. And we should call things based on what we believe is good for Manchester United. And I believe that's good for Man United. Not based on, it's my ego, I will be right or wrong, and I'm going to be right, and nothing else is going to teach me anything otherwise. I'm right and you're wrong. And some people actually go on streams and said, oh, I'm right. You see, hold that. When we lose, Johnny, when we lose, we all lose. As a collective, right? Regardless if I'm right or wrong, it doesn't really matter, does it? When we win, we all win. Regardless if I'm right or wrong, it doesn't really matter. We all win. We all win. We're all together on this Manchester United boat. We all bleed red. That's what we are. That's what it is at the end of the day. We are connected by the same bond of Manchester United. We love Manchester United. And that is what it is at the end of the day. Big up. Ephraim. Sal, spot on. The owners are the biggest problem. Managers are the least problem. The manager's not a problem, because if this went to the court of law right now, we've had good managers. Eric Ten Hag, we destroyed Eric Ten Hag. We destroyed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We destroyed Jose Mourinho. We destroyed a lot of managers at the football club. If this went to the court of law, even if we had OJ Simpson's lawyers, the ownership would be found guilty, not the manager. The owners and the players will be found guilty before the manager even is found guilty. The owners and the players will be the first ones to be found guilty, because they're the ones who evidently have sacked various managers, of course. Jarle, I celebrated a win. I am still celebrating. I'll stop celebrating when they get another match day. I'm located in Norway, Johnny. Big up, my friend. Big up, Jarle, of course. Big up yourself. Let's go, Sal. Big up, my friend. Sack Amorim now. Kick the Glazers in the teeth. I mean, sack the Glazers. Look, Mark. You know what, mate? Appreciate you, man. But what I would say is this. I'm not sitting here saying that Ruben Amorim should never be sacked. Ultimately, we need results. And I said this to Joe Blackman yesterday. I said, ultimately, we need results. You know, ultimately. But the overriding problem is the Glazers and Ineos, right? These are the two big problems. Now, Ineos coming out and saying, I don't know whether they're acting as a mouthpiece, probably are, of the Glazers. But they said, we're not going to spend in January because we want to wait until the summer if we qualify for Europe or not. But not thinking that we might not qualify for Europe because we didn't spend in January. For me, that's a disgrace. And now this is a high possibility, by the way, that Man United might not qualify for Europe because of January, because the African nation's going on. And we got big games coming up in January. Let's not forget, we got Aston Villa, we got Arsenal, we got City. During the AFCON, guys, Arsenal's on the 24th of January, but that's 2-3 days after the AFCON, so those players won't be back ready for the game. And that's what we're talking about. Do you know what I mean? And the owners need calling out. Ineos need calling out before anyone else does need calling out, to be honest with you. The manager, no, it's not going to do anything. Absolutely not. Do you reckon there's a chance that Luke Shaw will get moved on to wing back? I said I made a point because I imagine Martinez will have to be integrated properly. Yes, as soon as I can't imagine them both being. Can I be honest with you, Johnny? I'll be right honest with you, and I'm going to be totally honest. I like Luke Shaw. I've always liked Luke Shaw. I think Luke Shaw came back from a huge adversity, but over these last 5-6 years, I've grown very frustrated with Luke Shaw because obviously it's the World Cup year and he's found himself miraculously fit every single game. Luke Shaw cannot run up and down that wing back position all game. He can't do it. He probably can do it temporarily. He probably can do it for 50, 60 minutes, but he can't do it for 90 minutes. He's not fit enough. Absolutely, Martinez will be walking into that team. Would I like Luke Shaw as a left wing back? 50, 60 minutes per game. Yeah. 50, 60 minutes per game, and then he'll have to be taken off for Dorgu or Diego Leon or someone of that ilk, or Dalot. I would much prefer, though, however, having said that, Johnny, I would much prefer Luke Shaw as a left wing back than Dalot, right? Because he's a natural on that side. And we purchased Luke Shaw because that was what he was. That was his speciality. Luke Shaw was the left back. He was a left wing back. That's what Luke Shaw was. That's what we purchased him for. And he was a world-class. I'm not going to, flip-flop from this. He was a world-class left back. Not anymore, of course, but he was. And he was one of the best up-and-coming left-backs in Europe when he played for Southampton. Unfortunately, the injury against PSV Eindhoven obviously cost him a lot. But one thing I would say, I'd probably do that and test it out for like 40 to 60 minutes around that time and see how it goes. Because obviously, when you're playing a wing-back position, it's completely different to playing a left-sided left centre-back. You don't have to run as much in the centre-back position. The great thing about having Martinez back, it really does help the continuity of the team because obviously Martinez can bring that ball out from the left centre-back position into that midfield. That's what Martinez is very good at. He gets that ball and he moves it into that midfield. And that's what I really like about Martinez. And I'm glad Martinez is back because he does complement the midfield and he can act as a backup for Bruno Fernandes and stuff like that, of course. But the left-back situation, yeah, look, Do it. Bring Luke Shaw in. It's just extra options for us, isn't it, Johnny? It's what we need. We got a very weak squad. It's just extra options for us. And I wouldn't say never play Luke Shaw as left back again because Luke Shaw is a very good left back. And when I was talking about overlapping runs yesterday, we don't make enough overlapping runs. And Luke Shaw was an expert at that, many years ago. So and Luke Shaw can cross better as well with his left foot. And I think that's something that we've missed. Players crossing with the correct position. They're playing on the left, they cross with the left. They're playing on the right, they cross with the right. I've always believed that. I've always believed it should be that. That is my theory on that. Sam, rivals are scared that we're coming back to the top. Imagine our situation in several years. We are still win the FA Cup, Carling Cup, even Europa League. And with Marino, we get top 4 this season. Absolutely, man. Let's hope so, my friend. Absolutely. Let's hope so. Benny, as far as I'm concerned, Aram has worked miracles with this bunch. I agree with Benny here. I absolutely agree. I think he's worked miracles. But obviously, we've got a section of the fan base that, have an opinion about him for whatever reason. Maybe they're jealous of him and stuff like that. I don't know what it is. They talk about us being fancy and Ruben Amorim, things like that, rude things they say like that, of course. But I think they're jealous because they're better looking. He's better looking than them. That's what I think. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. At the end of the day, I'm good looking myself. I don't need to be jealous of anything. You know what I mean? I don't need to be jealous. I don't need to be jealous. I don't need to fancy anyone. You know what I mean? I don't fancy myself. I've got a wife. Benny, so imagine what it could be. Imagine what it could be do with players like Walton, Anderson, Blaber. Mate, Benny. You know what is it? No. Benny, absolutely. That is exactly what it is. That's what I want to see. I will not judge Ruben Amorim until he has his team there and his bloody squad there. I'm not going to judge him until that. Absolutely not. I'm not going to judge Ruben Amorim until I see his bloody team there because I'm seeing XGs, goals, big chances created, shots on target. We're top of the tree. So imagine he got the players that work in his system. Imagine it, guys. I just wish that some people would just wake up, for goodness sake. You know what I mean? Wake up, put your ego to one side, and let's talk about this. Let's talk objectively about this. Right? Let's talk about the managers out there that you believe are going to do better for Man United. Glasner, Thomas Frank, Areola. Are they all going to do better? Are they really? Come on, man. There's nobody out there. Ruben Amorim's the best choice. Dan, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Morning, Sal. With these stats, we are one of the best teams in the league all this season so far. Imagine if Ruben gets these players. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. You know what? You're preaching to the choir now. Can I get an amen? Amen. Can I get an amen? Amen. There you go, guys. Absolutely, Dan. Spot on, mate. You know, it's just. It baffles my mind that people don't see this. They don't see it. And we haven't done this for years. We haven't said, right, we're going to do a proper rebuild, a proper overhaul. That is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And this is how we're going to do it. And that is what we should be doing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big up, Pearl. What's going on? Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Goldbridge seems to feel that it's almost impossible to find the right, left, and right wing backs and Amorim system. It's not. There's Vanderson. There is a guy called Vanderson who can play there. There's a number of other players who can play there as well around Europe, guys. Absolutely, there is. I've been mentioning loads on the channel for many, many weeks. It's an excuse if you doubt the system. You doubt people who doubt the manager and stuff like that. It's just an excuse. But fair play to Mark Goldbridge. He's entitled to his opinion in regards to that. Jaffa. Greetings, mate. We are the third highest scoring club this season, and yet the agenda is that we are not improving. These pundits and media are scared that United getting back on hence the agenda. This is something that is very important because someone's mentioned it on the show already, but it's very important because it's true. We cannot underestimate how much the media want us to fail. We cannot underestimate this. Unfortunately, there's a certain section of Manchester United fan out there that are feeding into that media narrative. The Sky Sports, the ESPN, FC, the TNTs, of course, they all feed into TalkSport. They're all feeding into that narrative. They want Man United to fail, and those so-called fans are feeding into their narrative and they're enjoying it. That's why they get a lot of them on their show to say, yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't believe in Ruben Amorim is that guy. That is the thing. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. But here we go. I've just hit people with the facts. The facts are there that we are improving as a team. Not improving. We are actually getting to the realms of bloody hell Champions League team improvement. That's what it is. We just need to, how do we say it? Implement the stats with the finishing. Basically, we need to get those stats and turn them into facts. Right? That's basically scoring more goals. Because if Man United can improve their goal scoring record by 20, 30% throughout the season, you know how many points we're going to have, don't you? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Man United, in theory, could have won every single game this season, apart from the Man City and Brentford game, which were the most disappointing games for me. Benny, we beat Palace in London. Amorim obviously went to work at halftime. Exactly, the media spin. Palace were tired after Europe, but when this manager was back, a lot of people will have egg on their face. Exactly, Benny. And let's not forget about the Wolverhampton Wanderers game when it was 1-1 at halftime, and came in at halftime. And what happened at halftime? We came out in the second half, and we're absolutely all guns blazing. That's what we were, in it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, there you go. Proof is in the pudding at the end of the day, isn't it, Benny? He had a halftime rollicking again. These players need that. They need that halftime rollicking. They need Ruben Amorim to come at them and hit them with the facts. And that's what he's doing. And he won't get the praise for that. No one will come on social media and give him the praise that he's warranted. Say, well, at halftime, he must have said something because coincidentally, we were poor in the first half against Crystal Palace. We came out in the second half. We scored 2 goals. We won the game. We were poor in the first half against Wolves. It was 1-1. We came out in the second half and we won the game. Now, this kind of thing where Man United are turning up in games and not playing at the beginning of the game has been going on for quite a while, actually, even under Erik ten Hag. The same old problems have been going on for quite a while in regards to that. So there you go. Absolutely. Sam, we have to stop going for players because they are cheap. Absolutely. To afford that, we need to go for the best. It better to have 5 good players than 20 average players. Absolutely. Because they are cheap and affordable. Absolutely, Sam. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Good morning, Ellen. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Absolutely. Guys, absolutely. I agree, but the last summer's transfer, I think, were great. The issues are the legacy players. The players were great, but the quantity of the players weren't great, mate. We had 4 out of 10 last window. It's not enough. Where was the midfield? Where was the wing backs? We got a young goalkeeper last minute. Where was the backup for the defenders? Where's the backup striker? You know, we can go on and on. Sam, success isn't cheap. If United board thinks they can win the Premier League and Champions League and without spin and spend, they are wasting their time. Absolutely. All these buzzwords and stuff like that are not going to work with the smart folk, of course, guys. Absolutely. Jaffa, I'm going to name a few channels that seem to support the club but are actual fans of other clubs. Rant to Bants TV, Side TV, Stretford Paddock, and United Stand. Sometimes Flex, the Football Terrace. Screw you. Oh, there you go, Jaffa. There you go. That's you. At the end of the day, I don't know that 100%. I know Mark Goldbridge quite well. I know that Mark Goldbridge is a Man United fan. However, it doesn't mean that there are not outside influences. There's not outside influences that say that you have to have this narrative to fit in with the media. If you know what I mean, that can happen, but I'm not going to speculate and say anything sinister because I actually like Mark and that. The others, I can't speak for at the end of the day. I can't speak for the others at the end of the day. But yeah, look, I don't like Stretford Paddock. I've never liked them. I mean, Flex is very arrogant. He's very full of himself and he won't admit he was wrong ever. Narcissistic behavior, unfortunately. Decent guy when you meet him in person, but he's a narcissist, definitely. But you know what I would say, we know, obviously, and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? But some of them, you're absolutely right. But what I would say to you, Jaffa, regardless of all that, what I would say to you is support Stretford Post. And that's what it is. Support Sal, Stretford Post, and keep spreading the word and keep spreading because we always try to spread the gospel. I love everyone who's doing their thing. It's very difficult in this stream, in this circle up to actually carry on and do it over and over and over again consistently, right? But I always will try it because I'm an actual Man United fan. I prove I'm a Man United fan. I can do that. I can prove it from many, many, many years ago. I can show you tickets and season tickets before I started doing content. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, right? And that is what I can do. I can prove it. A lot of them can't, sadly. Absolutely. And are just using the club. The United Stand, Mark Goldridge would absolutely agree with you about Luke Shaw. Absolutely. Big up yourself. Big up Samuel. The Glazers should buzz off out of Manchester United and jog on back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, they're probably there already, mate, but they just deal with Man United from afar. Shaw as a left wing back for the time being with Leacher at centre back would be a short term, at least galvanise the weak left hand side. Dan, I agree with you, mate. I agree, Dan Norsman. Big up Dan Norsman, by the way. Hope you're doing well. I agree with him there. Look, you don't become a bad wing back overnight. The only thing that I would say about Luke Shaw is the fact that he's fitness. It's just his fitness. So, as I said earlier, I would do him 40 to 60 minutes as a left wing back. And I think that would be good. Then we could take him off and bring in Dorgu or bring in, obviously, Diego Leon or Dalot or something like that. Of course, guys. Absolutely. Johnny, to be honest, it's very depressing now. I think about it. They managed to strike out twice when it came to the owners. Big up, Johnny. Big up, my friends. Martinez keeping fit is absolutely key. By far our best progressive defender. Absolutely, Dan. People underestimate this, Dan. I spoke about this on other channels as well, and people laugh at me that I said that Licha Martinez is one of the best defenders in the league. They laugh at me. What Licha Martinez does for this team, people underestimate it, and people are underestimating how much we have suffered since we haven't had Licha Martinez, because Licha Martinez actually helps our midfield. He actually brings that ball forward. As you said, they're progressing a defender. He brings that ball into midfield, and it contributes to helping our midfield and solidifies the gaps that are left by Bruno sometimes, of course, guys. So it is really important that we have Licha Martinez back and fit, of course. Big up the Stretford Post community. Stratford. Big up, my friend. Big up, Prince. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my guy. All out for Anderson, in my opinion. Agree, Dan. My favorite player at the moment in regards to midfield. Of course, that can change, of course, guys. But very, a bit huge admirer of Anderson. Absolutely phenomenal player. He's the future of midfielders, in my opinion. He's the future of the big midfielders, guys. In my humblest of humbles, I would say. We could challenge next season. I hope so, my friend. I hope so, Amen. Absolutely. Big up, Dave. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well, you legend. Hope you're doing good, my bro. I'm seeing people saying that Salah is not a Liverpool legend, but the same people calling Bruno a United legend. Sal, when did the definition of legend change? The definition of legend changes when it fitted their narrative, mate. That is exactly what it is. Their narrative is such that they have certain favourites and they want to call certain people legends, but they don't want to call Mohamed Salah legend. Let me just tell you something. Mohamed Salah is Liverpool's best player in the last 30 years. How about that? 35 years. Mohamed Salah is the best player of Liverpool in 35 years. Sorry, straight up. He's better than Gerrard. Won the league, didn't slip. Won the Champions League as well. You want to bring that in? More goals, more assists. right? At the end of the day, I know about the birds and the bees. I know the thing about, I'm not going to mention it on the show, but about Ahmed Salah and stuff like that. I know what happens with their narratives. I know what happens. In regards to Bruno, Bruno is he's not a Man United legend. He will be a folklore player, a player that, you know what, we'd be looking at in the future like Lou Macari, you know, like a Norman Whiteside. We'd be looking at Bruno on that sort of thing, on that sort of level. We'd be looking at that. I won't be looking at Bruno like an Eric Cantona, a Cristiano Ronaldo, a Paul Scholes, a Peter Schmeichel. I'll be looking at him on a Lou Macari, you know what I mean, a Norman Whiteside level where, yeah, good at cups, good sometimes and stuff like that, you know, decent player, you know, but not a legend. In my opinion, at the end of the day. And that's what I would say. I think that, as I said, like that legend status gets thrown around way too easily, in my opinion. Absolutely. It's a calculated real, but Scousers are living proof that their money without tactical plan is foolish. It is. However, I do know that Man United know what players they want, and we should have moved it forward. We know what players we want. We know what players needed to fix this team. It's quite obvious. In regards to Liverpool, what Liverpool did, they signed players in positions that they don't need. For example, they signed Florian Wirtz and Ekatike when they already had Salah and Gakpo and players like that, right? So, and obviously, they signed Isaac as well. Okay, fine. But what they should have done, what Liverpool should have done, is that they should have went out there and bought Adam Wharton. They should have went out there and bought Anderson, or, you know, they should have went and got player of that ilk. Because when I look at Liverpool, the biggest problem I see at Liverpool, which I don't really care, to be honest, I hope they fail. But when I see the biggest problems at Liverpool, I do see the midfield as the biggest problem at Liverpool. And I think they needed to fix that before they start, you know, buying the luxury players, the cherry on the cake, if you know what I mean. And I believe that Man United know what they want. They just don't have the money to buy it. That's the problem with Man United. We don't have the money to buy it. Liverpool went the Galacticos route. I've always believed that the Galacticos route don't work. It didn't work with Real Madrid when they bought all those Galacticos players, and it's not going to work with Liverpool, and it didn't work with Man United when we're buying the likes of Ibrahimovic and Schweinsteiger and Falcao and things like that. It doesn't really work. You have to build a team. I said it about England, right, during the golden generation with Lampard, Gerrard and Scholes. I said it about England. The missing piece of the puzzle for England was not Lampard, Gerrard or Scholes. It was actually Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick was the guy that could have been that guy in the middle that would have connected all the pieces together, and Man United and England might have won something. I brought it in because I know that the people are always so infatuated and excited about loads of players with big names and play the same position. When in fact, even Alex Ferguson proved it, you have to buy players that complement the team, to complement the balance of the team. And I think that is what it is at the end of the day. You know, I know what will complement Man United's balance right now. I know that Anderson will complement Man United's balance perfectly. Maybe a Baleba, maybe Adam Wharton. These players will complement Man United and improve Man United. Buying Semenyo and buying players like that, I don't think will be the game changer for Man United that Man United need. The game changer is the midfield. And this is what we're talking about at the end of the day. You have to buy the right players. You have to buy the right players that fit the system. And we don't have it at the moment because we are penny pinching. Liverpool didn't penny pinch, they spent, but they spent badly. And this is because they didn't have planning. We have a team of a conveyor belt of people at our football club now that actually plan, that actually do things now. They're planning it. We just need the money. We don't have the money. Maybe we need Liverpool's money. Do you know what I mean? This is why we need to qualify for the Champions League. That's what Man United needs to do. Man United needs to qualify for the Champions League. That's what we need to do. And that will help Man United absolutely immensely, of course. Absolutely. Hold on. Big up, Dan. Hated adored, never ignored, Dan. Absolutely. What's the front line when African starts? I mean, at the moment, if we don't sign anyone, Dan, obviously we're going to have the 21st to the 1st of January, 21st of December to the 1st of January. We're not going to have any signings, of course, because the window don't open to the 1st of January. My prediction, my feeling is that we're going to play Bruno as a number 10 and Mainu is in the middle. That's what I would do. I'll play Mainu as number 8, Bruno as number 10. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Who knows? Do you know what I mean? And Cunha and Xerxes up front. Sesko will be back as well soon. So maybe that will help as well. But this is why I would say that Ruben Amorim needs to bring in young players sometimes, because sometimes when you bring in the young players, you know what, you might find a gem. You know, you might find a gem. And bringing the young players through will help Man United, because if they get experience and it turns out that they're absolutely game changers, it's going to help Man United, isn't it? So, like, I would have brought on Shea Lacey against the Wolves. I know there was an overreaction, I think, in regards to the Shea Lacey situation, because people weren't calling for Shea Lacey to play because they believe he's going to be a great player. A lot of these people haven't seen Shea Lacey play. They were calling for Shea Lacey to play because it was a stick to poke Ruben Amorim with. That was the difference with it. Do you know what I mean? So I believe that he should have played Shea Lacey, should have played him for 5 to 10 minutes and see how it goes. Because then you look at it and you think, when the AFCON comes along, we got another bow to our armour, innit? We got another bow to our armour. We got Shea Lacey who's played against Wolves. He's a good player. We can bring him in. You know what I mean? And you got to be brave sometimes to do that, you know? Big up, Dan. Good to see you, mate. Dave, get us Wharton and Anderson, and our midfield is sorted. Absolutely. For right wing back, we can get by, but with the left wing back, we should get a decent profile there. That'll help with the attack. I mean, maybe we can, Dave. Maybe we can lose Luke Shaw. Maybe we can lose Luke Shaw for the time being. But getting the Wharton and getting Anderson, I don't think they're going to do that, unfortunately. I think the most that Man United are going to get is one midfielder, maybe a stopgap midfielder, but not something that is going to be there on a permanent basis, of course. Absolutely not. Bruno is off in the summer. I'm convinced Anderson and Kobe the future of our midfield. Big up, Dan. Maybe Kobe Mainoo will get his opportunities during the AFCON. Hopefully he does. You know what I mean? And we can, guys. Christian, I believe Ruben Amorim. Good morning. Hope you're doing well, Christian. I believe Ruben Amorim hasn't been back properly, so we can't judge him yet. But as fans, we believe that our glory days ain't far away. Our glory days ain't far away, Christian. They're not. If we do the right thing right now, which is back the manager, our glory days are closer than you think. If we sack the manager right now, we're going to go back years and we won't be there for many, many years. Let me just tell you that right now. But in any business, in anything, in any institution, it's like that. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Have fun, chat. It's really good to talk to you, Dan. Thank you so much. Have a great day, my friend. Good to see you. Absolutely. Hey, big up, Kenny. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Henderson has won Liverpool the Prem. Something Gerrard hasn't even done in his career. Henderson? You mean Salah? Did Henderson win the league? I think he did, didn't he? He did win the league. If we are to get back to where we should be, we will have none of this old guard left at the club. Full overhaul needed and manager fully backed. Until that happens, we are pissing in the wind. Absolutely, Benny, spot on. Ineos are better back Amorim this January, or else it's going to be deja vu from last season. There you go, my friend. I hope not. If Bruno had the right midfielders around him, he could be an exciting player for us going forward. I mean, I think he's not a midfielder, mate. I think he's a number 10. He's not a midfielder. He's not a midfielder. Let me tell you that right now. He even admitted it himself. Samuel, I would like to see Manchester United get Ederson and Elliot Anderson. That would be nice. Samuel, that would be nice, my friend. Benny, when is Sesko back? Any words? I'm hearing either Bournemouth on the bench or the game after. I'm not sure who the game after is against. Maybe it's Newcastle, I think. But I think he's going to be one next game, and the next game be on the bench. I don't know what happened with him. I mean, it's all innocuous, isn't it? But what happened with him? Transfers weren't good enough. Absolutely agree. Absolutely. I think given what he has, Amorim is doing well. I think so as well, but people don't want to believe that. On a young player, JJ Gabriel was flying again last night, scoring for it. He needs to be put into that squad, mate. He needs to be put into that squad. JJ Gabriel is a generational, mate. He's not eligible to play at the moment, apparently. Apparently, he's not eligible to play, but he's eligible to play in the FA Cup. So hopefully we could see JJ Gabriel playing in the FA Cup in January. That's going to be exciting. I would like to see that. Hopefully we get a nice, easy draw, eh? Well, we haven't, have we? We got Brighton and Hove Albion, haven't we? We always get the bloody Premier League team, don't we? But it's not to say that we can't put JJ Gabriel in there and see what he can do. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, who cares? If you're good enough, you are old enough at the end of the day. I believe that wholeheartedly, of course. Absolutely. I believe that. JJ Gabriel is an absolute generational, and we can't lose him. So what we got to do with JJ Gabriel, we got to be very careful. We got to entice him. We got to give him the confidence that he's going to play for Man United. And by playing him now, it will solidify his thoughts in his head subconsciously that this is the team for me. I've made my debut at Man United. I'm going to be a legend at Man United. And I think that's what we should do. I don't think we should wait. Arsenal haven't waited there, the 15-year-old. We can't play JJ Gabriel at the moment. Apparently, he's not legible. We didn't make him legible to play. So he can't, but he can, however, play in the FA Cup, which is exciting. And that's what we should do. My personal opinion, guys, I would play JJ Gilbert in the FA Cup. I would play Mantato in the FA Cup. I would play these players. I would, because I saw you remember if you scroll it back to the Hong Kong game and the Asian All-Stars game at the beginning of the season. You remember those games? And I remember when Mantato played. You remember those players played, and they played very, very well. I was very impressed with them. Maybe we could start bringing in. Maybe we could bring in Kone we could start bringing in players of a youth, of course. Sadly, we're playing Brighton, so it's not going to be easy, of course. But why not? Play a few of them. It's only going to help the squad, because at the moment, we can't really play young players right now because of the situation that we're in. We're in a very weird situation where we got toxicity hovering over us, a lot of pressure. So it's very difficult to bring young players in. Isn't JJ 15? He is 15, Betty, but he can't play at the moment. We didn't register him anyway. You can play at 15. And remember, the famous George Weah once played at 15. Yeah. Of course you can, but he can play in the FA Cup. He's eligible to play in the FA Cup, so you may see JJ in the FA Cup, which will be exciting. Imagine we see JJ Gabriel in the FA Cup, man. Even as a bench option. I would love to see Shea Lacey, and I would love to see JJ Gabriel in the FA Cup against Brighton. I would love to see that, mate. I mean, I don't know what about you. Is JJ the youngest, Man United's youngest player? Yeah, he was 14, he turned 15 only recently. Yeah, JJ Gabriel is Man United's if JJ Gabriel played in the FA Cup against Brighton, he will represent Man United's youngest ever player, if I'm not wrong. He would be Man United's youngest ever player. But yeah, he's an absolute game changer, a generational player that Man United need to focus on giving an opportunity. I would say that, absolutely. They need to give him an opportunity, guys. They really do, because other teams are lurking around. They're looking at JJ and they're going to snap him up. And we just like we snapped up Aiden Heaven and Chido Obi Martin, they could obviously snap up JJ Gabriel. So Man United do need to obviously play him in that FA Cup tie. Give him a chance, because then, you know what? He's going to have that feel for Man United, isn't he? Big up to Revert 7. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Second half was a bit quiet, but everyone knows a top talent. Good morning, by the way. Good morning. Top talent, needs his opportunity, need to get him in now. The only thing is we can't put too much pressure on the lad, obviously, because he's only 15 and we don't want his ego to get a little bit big. I'm not saying that it will, but we don't want that to happen, because that does happen with the new generation. Unfortunately, they get a little bit of an ego, and the ego gets overly inflated and stuff like that, of course, guys. So we have to remember that, of course. We don't want the ego to get overly inflated and stuff like that, of course, And that's what I would say. So, but yeah, definitely the FA Cup tie against Brighton will be an opportunity to give him his debut. And why not? Why not add something positive to this season? Giving Shea Lacey a debut and giving, obviously, JJ Gabriel a debut. Shea Lacey, however, I would say this, guys, I'm hearing is that Shea Lacey is very, very close to a Man United debut. That is what it is. He could make his debut against Bournemouth. He could make his debut, whether that's on the bench. He won't start. Of course he won't, but he could make his debut on the bench. Man United are looking at integrating JJ Gabriel into the Shea Lacey into the squad because of the African nations, of course, which is coming up, because obviously Shea Lacey can fit well into that. Is Amas coming back? Probably at the end of the season. Not at the moment. He's on loan at Sheffield Wednesday, of course, guys. Absolutely killing it over there at the moment. Absolutely. And yeah, Amas is a brilliant player. I didn't believe we should have loaned him out. But the one good thing about, obviously, Amas is that he's got that experience of first-team football now. He's playing in a difficult league, full of men at the end of the day. And he's going to come back to Man United more prepared, less weak. Because obviously what the narrative about which was surrounding Harry Amas was that he's too weak. He's too weak and he's positioning and stuff like that. However, I believe he's going to be a very, very good player. And this is something that we can't discount going forward. I know that everyone wants the shiny new toys. They want the signings and stuff like that. But we also can't forget about Harry Amas and players of that ilk as well. We have to think about these players as well and think, obviously, about that. He's doing very well on loan, Revert 7. And hopefully he'll come back to Man United and he'll do very well at Man United. I really hope so. Fingers crossed everything goes well. Sesko, just spoken about him, should be back game after next or next game on the bench. We have to wait and see. Playing against men is much better than under 21 youth football. And this is something that I pointed out on the show a few weeks ago. I was talking about Spanish football and I was talking about how they put Barcelona B and Real Madrid B, because Real Madrid Castilla, they're called. They put them in the lower divisions in Spain. So they basically play Segunda B and the third division. So the Segunda B, you'll be playing against a proper professional football teams, men at the end of the day, who are fighting for something to get promoted. So that is where Spain do it right. In England, we do this silly under 21 league, which doesn't improve players. Why don't they move Man United under 21s, Liverpool under 21s, Arsenal under 21s to League One, League Two, League One, League Two? Why don't they do that? You know, they should do. Extend the leagues. They should do that at the end of the day, because when it can only benefit the players to play that sort of football. And I'm very connected to League One football. I worked in League One football, of course, in East London. And I know how good these players are. At the end of the day, you do have very good professionals in the lower divisions in England, in the League One, and obviously the League Two and stuff like that. Shea Lacey was on the bench as his Wolves, and Crystal Palace. I was hoping to see him play. You will see him play very soon. I'm hearing that he's gonna play some games. Don't worry about that. He will be back, guys. Absolutely, he will be back, guys. Guys, I want to thank everyone for joining me. I really appreciate everyone in the stream. You're absolute legends. Please, guys, can I just ask one thing? There's a lot of people come on the stream who don't smash a like. So please, guys, I've had 80 people in there. I should have over 80 likes by now. But guys, please, can you smash a like? Let's get up to 50 likes, guys. Let's get up to 50 likes. If we could get to 50 likes, that'd be absolutely fantastic. 42 likes, guys. Hit the like button. Oh, 42, guys. Come on, let's get to 50 likes. Come on, guys. Hey, big up Noah. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. So the rest of the chat, listen, I agree with you with JJKB as long as the way to go. And he's 15 calls of pressure and expectation is somewhat. Arsenal are doing that. Stallman. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big up, Noah. Big up yourself. Big up, brother. I hope you're doing well. Have a good day, folks. Guys, don't forget to smash that like, please. Let's get up to 50 likes, guys. If you guys can do that for me, absolutely fantastic. Thank you, guys. I will be at that later on, obviously, for Chatterbox. Please, guys, don't forget to subscribe if you're new as well. And don't forget to put your notifications on as well. I respect every single one of you and thank every one of you who support the channel every single day. We are growing day by day and we will continue to grow, guys. Have a fabulous day. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn. See you for Chatterbox. Take it easy. Peace.